You need a
That's
break.
like you need none.
Baby, stop.
You stop.
Okay, next question.
Next question.
You gonna make it through the
No, you might not make it.
Like
Man.
2 hours. Yeah, boy.
Next topic.
We ain't been going but an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I like two.
We need a porta potty over this.
You need a pull up.
Okay.
Man, let me pull up. It got
Right.
red. Let's get red on it.
Well, this one kind of similar to some of the stuff we've already been speaking about, but this one says, is jealousy a natural characteristic to have in a relationship, or is it unhealthy? Jealousy.
Jealousy? That seems like that would be unhealthy to me. I don't think that's natural to be, but jealous of what? Your spouse, or
jealous
like
of
a
your
similar
spouse.
situation
Situation.
going
I
on.
mean, situation. I mean, it's a situation.
It could be anything.
I don't know. I don't think jealousy is healthy. I don't think that's healthy, because if you're jealous of a situation that's going on, then to me that seems like that's a deeper issue there of an underlying issue with trust or communication or something. Like if you're in it's something else going on. Like if I'm jealous of something, then there's an underlying issue. I feel like that's there that hasn't been talked about. That's what I think. I don't think I can't think off the top of my head a situation where jealousy would be. It would be
I guess
cool
the
for me
question
to be
says
jealous.
jealousy is natural, though. Is it natural? It could be something natural to have as a characteristic, like to be jealous.
So to have a mate, right? So to have Kevin, right? And for you guys to be out, and for a young lady you go to the bathroom and you come back to the table and it's a young lady there and maybe she's doing
you already
a little,
know.
You know, like, oh my gosh, what?
You
Maybe
already
it's
know
just
my reaction. It ain't jealousy, it's respect. I'm about to knock your head off. You
Right,
already
right,
know
right,
my reaction.
Yeah, I
already.
don't think I'm going. It depends on.
It ain't like
now,
a
it depends
jealous
on
thing.
what-
It's more like
how
But
you
jealousy
handle it,
doesn't
but
even
I
have to
don't
be
think
about
I'm
the
gonna be
opposite
jealous.
sex.
Yeah.
It could be about the same sex. If Kevin is going out every week with his friends, you could be
Oh,
jealous
yeah,
of his
you
friends. Like,
jealous,
why you always going out with your friends and you're not going out with me? Do you not have fun with me?
Right.
Yeah,
But that would be the more underlying issue. I feel like, that you're feeling like maybe that person is not, wanting to get away from you, and they're
Right.
not wanting to hang out with you. They want to get out of the house and get away from you, so they're trying to go out more versus hanging out with you. So I think that's, I don't know. I think that's why I feel like it's more of an underlying issue.
it's something else.
Something else is
make
going
you feel
on.
Yeah.
jealous.
I mean, I guess
or-
that jealousy maybe is natural, but I feel like the bigger scheme is there's something else going on under there.
I think we're all human beings at the end of the day.
Right.
We're all flawed individuals. So it can be a natural thing to feel a certain way.
Right.
But maybe that person is making you feel that way because of reoccurring situations.
Right.
Yeah.
Certain
Right.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
those certain
Triggers.
triggers.
Then I think the thin line, but I think it's natural. I think the thin line is when it becomes from sanity to insanity. I think it's natural because I'm very secure in our relationship.
Right.
But quite naturally, if we were in a restaurant, I went to use the bathroom, I came back, my first inclination, if I saw a guy talking to her, I don't know the guy, I don't know if it would necessarily be jealousy at first as it would be inquisitiveness. Who is this guy? But if I saw the behavior like, oh, he's kind of close to her, my passion and love for her triggers a slight degree of jealousy. I mean, even Jesus in the Bible, I know it's not a religious platform, but he was jealous. I think that's still sanity in that perspective. Insanity is if its core issues of what you're speaking to are so deep that my response to jealousy is like, hey man, I'm ready to keep somebody's car, or I'm on the stalk. Who is this person? Who is this person? You're telling me this, I don't believe it. I don't even believe what you're saying. This ain't true. Now it's affecting our relationship, but I think it's cute to be I mean, I go back to childhood. How cute was it for us guys and girls who you was dating a little somebody and the other little friend want to talk to them and they jealous, somebody start crying or whatever. I think the innocence of jealousy is cool, but as we grow into adulthood, most of it is shaped by an experience. Things trigger something. I can see a guy talking to her and it triggers something. Well, depending on what, I think it goes back into sanity, or what state of mind. that I'm in. Because you're saying, what would I do?
Yeah, like what would you do? Like,
Okay, well, it depends on the state of mind.
But you're like there.
Oh my God.
It depends on that state of mind, cause I do have a insane mindset where it just depends.
Insane mindset.
I mean, y'all. I
He
think
crazy.
if my memory serves me correct, we were together. Was that New Orleans or something? Where was it?
Oh,
Was
yeah,
it
you popped off.
Yeah. Was it?
Well, yeah, it was in New
that?
Orleans.
It was in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but see, that could, I had a fish bowl, $5 fish bowl and stuff.
But God knows what was in it.
And God kind of looking whatever, so I had to let him know what it was. I'm secure. I know what room she's going back to. I know how she got there, how she leaving, all that. So I think the sanity, in that case, the sanity I think was there. Yeah. I know how the night gonna end, gonna be a happy ending. But look, this mine.
Right.
And you ain't got no business, whatever he did, and I had to let him know what it was. So it was a degree of jealousy in there.
Right.
I think that was more disrespect, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the full story.
I think it did play into that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
That's
Yeah, it's a
like
thin
he
line.
feels the way about you. Like he's not gonna be like, oh, whatever. It's more like, oh, so he's concerned. Like, oh, so what's going on? Like, why is he over here talking to you or saying these comments, about my woman? So, yeah.
So how do you feel about okay, can the guy say, say like at our wedding, your wife was looking like a bag of money, okay, a big old bag.
I ain't gonna tell you what she called me.
Okay.
If somebody didn't know, that she had they just didn't notice, they ain't noticed, they didn't look at the hand, none of that, and you stepped away, and afterwards maybe he wrote on her pic, found her gram or something, and man, you are so beautiful, blah 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 blah. Is there any issue there, or is it, oh, that's cute, somebody thinks my wife is cute, we're gonna keep it moving? Or is it like,
if
hold on?
If he see her gram, he gonna see me up there.
Right.
So he already
You feel me?
knows.
So he already know. I think there's a certain level. You can't be, my thing is, you can never be mad at a guy for shooting a shot. Boop,
Okay.
Go ahead and shoot your shot,
Yeah.
buddy. You know what I mean? If you can do what you do, do what you do. But it's on her to deflect that particular situation.
That's right.
So I think there's a few different situations when it comes to jealousy. I think, and I don't like to speak from personal experience because personal experience is always right. I like to think about guys that I know and conversations that I have over the years and kind of use that as my perspective of speaking instead of speaking from my own. But I do know guys, when it comes in terms of jealousy, guys can be maybe intimidated by somebody who's at a higher level than them.
Right.
So, this isn't me necessarily, but I know I'm pretty good. I'm pretty comfortable with who I am and what I can provide and what I bring to the table. But let's say, we're here in Atlanta. There's a lot of celebrities here in Atlanta. There's a lot of football stars and basketball players and all that kind of stuff in Atlanta. So let's say a guy comes who can bring more to the table than what you currently bring.
Right.
Are you secure enough in that situation? And everybody may not be secure enough in that situation. So if your spouse is in an environment where they network with people and they engage with people who are doing something at a higher level than you, then that can maybe bring problems because you may be insecure. Like, oh man, why? Okay, she's going to these business meetings with, what I mean, with so-and-so, and he played for the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
You might get a little nervous because he might can do something that I can't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think in a relationship, we said this word a number of times. Trust is a key.
Right.
Knowing the individual that you're with and knowing that the individual that you're with not going to fall for certain traps and certain things that may intrigue them. That maybe I know one thing I remember. Shay, I'm not sure if you remember this. Shay used to.
Y'all been together for years.
We've been married for 10 years, but
We've been together longer than I've been alive.
Like 20
Wow,
almost.
see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for real. Since
I remember. So Shay used to love 50 Cent. Did you have a poster 50 Cent in your bedroom?
I used to love him, like, back in the day, like the mixtape. Yeah.
Love 50
I used to
Cent.
love 50 Cent, yeah. Had the G, you had the G unit?
G-Unit?
Yeah.
I was like,
That's why you had a G TikTok. Come on,
I was
man.
like,
Come on, man.
right.
I ain't never do that.
I was a happy
TikTok in college, man. I was wondering. Take little cut off,
yeah, he
little
was
cut
trying
off.
to wear his little, little arms out.
So I asked her, right? I don't know if we was in high school. I might have been in college at this point. I don't remember. But I said, if you could pick between me and 50 Cent, who would you pick, right?
Wow.
But you remember.
No, what did I say? You could probably tell a story, bro.
No, what you said was, you said I would pick you because even though 50 Cent has a lot of money, you have the potential to make what 50 Cent makes. That's what you
That secured you right there.
said. Right. Now, and I think that's big is you have to know the person that you're with
Wow.
and what
that's
kind of
good.
And he
mentality.
don't remember nothing.
Wow.
I remember what's important. What's important. But that was big to me. I'm like, wow. She says I had the potential to make what he makes. Like, even though I don't have it now, she believes I can have that in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was like,
You was at Kmart that time.
yeah.
Oh, you used to like, for real, like, you remember like, you was like, when y'all was working at Kmart and you was talking about the $5. And I was like, Lamar, get out of here. He was like,
what?
for the rent or something. You remember that? He was like, I really need
No.
$5. I was like, no, you don't. He's like, no, but so
I
we
don't know
like,
about it. I'm thinking like $2.
it was so, but he's like, he needed to pay his rent.
Yeah.
So I thought he was like joking. So like,
Yeah.
it was like a year or two later, we were talking about it. And cause he had went down to like on spring break with his homeboys and hanging out and stuff, and he spent his money or something.
Yeah, we got.
And so he was like, he said no. He's like, but you remember I asked you for that $5 for my rent, and I was like, yeah. I said you were. I was just playing, but I gave it to him anyway.
Yeah.
And he was like, I really needed that $5 to make. Like I really needed that, but like that's what I needed. Like to make my rent. Like it was for real. He was like, and I wanted. He was like, that was like a big deal for me because like you thought I was playing. He said, but either way, like you just gave, like I just gave it to him freely. Like okay, you did the $5 here. And just to see our struggle, like you know how like you just progress throughout, you know, the relationship, but just a struggle, like it was like
Look at now.
struggle mode.
Okay.
The maximum.
We're in the mansion, guys. FYI.
Lego.
That's
Like
amazing.
it's a you know it's a process. So
that
just
was
to kind of
the
build
moment.
that foundation, you know,
It was crazy.
at the beginning, yeah.
That was that was his motivator.
Yeah, definitely.
You pushed him.
That was-
You pushed him along.
And
Yeah.
That's a good story.
That was the
Remember that?
times.
No,
I met LT one of those same times.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met LT. We was at
That's
Kmart.
amazing.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
That's a good story.
That's
Yeah, it is,
amazing.
Come on,
man.
Essence, Ebony.
That's some good stuff, man.
For sure.
Yeah, next question.
The next question.
It's a lot of topics in there too.
Topics, yeah.
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh.
That might be kind of deep. I saw the first line.
So the first line, I gotta open it up to see the rest of it.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Do you feel like you ever had to give up anything for your spouse? And how do you feel about that? Have you ever had to sacrifice or give up anything for your spouse? Give up on a dream, give up on a goal, give up on anything for your spouse.
That's a tough one. I ain't gonna go on that one.
Give it up.
Who got that one?
Well, me personally, I wouldn't say I had to really necessarily give up anything, but I've told him about this before. Like, I feel like I had to start my life over like 3 times, only because we had to move due to his job. So I remember we were in North Carolina, and then I had to. Then something happened with his job where we had to relocate. So we had just purchased our first home. We decided to have a home instead of a wedding. So having to go from the dynamic of, okay, we chose to buy a house instead of having our wedding, and now we haven't been in our house, 6 months or so? Not even a year, I think, and then we had to relocate just so he can keep his job. So, being that we had, we had eglontitis, and they were really small. So just having to, for me, it was like my whole life was like, okay, so now I have to start over again. So I feel like I kind of gave up like my job and my career, so I had to start over. But it just so happened, and I always say, God is amazing, because I was able to actually start a job. We had to move from North Carolina to Florida, and then we went to Florida. I was able to find a job with the same company, just doing something totally different from what I was used to. So needless to say, I've been in that career now for like over 10 years. But then moving from then, when we're in Florida, we were just far away from family. If I could just take my family and move them there, it would have been awesome, but it just doesn't happen that way. So we had to start over again, because he was like, okay, I'm having an opportunity where we can move again. I'm keeping my job. And we'll have to move either. We were looking at, I think, Virginia and Georgia. So we were trying to actually find out where we wanted to live. So then we moved from Florida to Georgia, where we are now, and that was another, like, me starting over, because I didn't have a job. So I had to give up, my job and everything to move. And for me, I'm not like like stay at home type. Like I guess it was just my upbringing. Like I just always wanted to like work. Like, okay, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna have a job, and so yeah, so now I had to start over again. But yeah, that's why I feel like just having to give up and start over.
I think I would like realign boundaries in relationships. So we're the newlyweds. We don't have children yet. So I think for me it was just realigning, like we talked about in the beginning, certain relationships and friendships that I had, where it's like, okay, so you're like married now, sis. You can't just move, jump up, like, oh, I'm going to do this now. It's like honoring him and like discussing it with him and making sure we're moving in the same direction. It's not about, because I value my friendships, and all my friendships have been long term. So for me, they were like, all right, I gotta move with them, kind of like what Kevin was saying, like, I gotta move with them. What are we doing? It's like, oh no, now it's what are we doing? Like, okay, so I think for me that was the biggest thing to understand. Like, I move with him now. It's not just Alexis moving. I'm saying, consult him and understand how I move affects how he moves. So I think that's
I would agree with that. I don't really say give up, but more or less prioritize. That became natural. That was what I wanted to do. Being a creative, a lot of what we do is just fly by the seat. Anything. I could just get on the plane and say, oh, it's a great event happening. I just want to be there in California. Let's go. Let's do it. But now it's all about what makes sense to do under the auspices of the relationship and the benefit of the relationship. Fortunately, I married someone who understands the creative, who, and that's why I wouldn't say give up, because like if I just said, if I said, and then even not even traveling outside of here, like say musician-wise, Atlanta's an entertainment city, so. Every night there's a gig, there's a jam session happening anywhere. She's never said, and I've not really even been this guy, but she's never said, oh, yo, you went out last night. What are you going out tonight for? It's never been that. But it's just been me prioritizing, saying it's not healthy for me and my growth in the relationship to go to everything. And how does that benefit? How does that translate to the betterment of the relationship? So I would say, in a self way that I've chosen to reprioritize or give up certain things that as a single man I probably wouldn't care as much about, but not out of obligation I gave them up.
Right. And that, I think that's a tough situation to be in, when like, I think a lot of people that's in your position think that going out every night creates opportunity. So staying home creates a disadvantage of what you could potentially bring in from a revenue standpoint within the career. And I think we can all feel that way, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to networking and getting out and meeting people and shaking hands, it's like the more I stay in the house, the more opportunity that I lose of going out and meeting someone that can potentially bring more revenue to my household. So I think that's key, and I think me thinking about this once being single, not being married, and like being in Atlanta, like I met my wife on a networking. Well, I thought it was gonna be a networking night. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was gonna be a networking night. I'm like, my home like, oh, it's a networking night. It's Tuesday. It's a networking night at the club. You know what I mean? You're like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Like you know what I mean? So I think we met on that type of environment where you were out trying to like find yourself and build your resume and like build your brand, and I found the woman of my life, like so I think that's just it's key, like it's having someone that understands that leaving the house generates revenue, and it can also be in their eyes and everyone's eyes is like a situation where we don't want you to leave the house too much because it could be a bad situation. You know what I mean? Like we could think about a lot of bad things that can happen when you leave the house. But I think from us as gentlemen, like and women, like any given day or any given night or any given event, it can be an opportunity for us to bring in more revenue and take care of our family. So I think that was just just key.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you have to give up anything for your relationship with him?
What's the question?
Yeah, no. I didn't have to give anything up. So.
All right, this side of the room.
For my relationship,
Was it for your spouse or?
I don't know if I had to give up anything. I know certain things change.
Yeah.
I think there's in life you have. I think what I've learned is you have two different dynamics. You have your life when it's you and your spouse, and then you have your life when it's you and kids. And I think with us, a lot of things happen at one time. And I think we didn't get to experience life as us because we had kids first, and then we got married. And so I think a lot of times people can confuse it. A lot of times they can get intertwined. But I think because we had kids, I had to give up certain things collectively because of the marriage and because of having kids. And so maybe it just, as we got married young, with 24 years old I was, you maybe 21, but just going out and being able to hang out, that was still the college age, and just having fun. And I remember my homie used to be like, man, I miss my dog. Like Lil Wayne had that song, I miss my dog. Yeah, man,
I still pay to this day to my homies.
I miss my dog, man. You never go out no more. And it was just like I was at a different position in my life.
Life had changed,
because I had priorities. I had things I had to take care of, so I couldn't just go out. So I maybe had to give up going out, but I wasn't a big person on going out necessarily anyway. I enjoyed it when the time was right, but I didn't necessarily want to go out all the time anyway. But at the same time, I think I've been doing music for a long time. It was just something kind of to play with, and me and my homies, we used to talk about what we would do as a group, and the places we were traveling, things to see. But once you get married and you have kids and you have responsibilities, you can't move around like that anymore. So it's almost like you slowly see those things kind of drifting away, and it's like, man, I would love to go to this show here. I would love to go to this festival here, but I can't do it. So I know those things I may have sacrificed those things, but I never felt like it really hindered me. I always felt like, well, I can go this avenue instead. I can get this exposure here instead. So I think you may have to let things go with over time, but did I sacrifice anything? Or it can kind of be up in the air, but I think it just kind of comes with growth and maturity. Things that you have to realize what your priorities are and things of that nature. Yeah. So let's try to grab one more topic before we call this thing to a close. I know we all.
Didn't get this side.
I got some more.
We didn't get this side at all.
Ken went.
We didn't give up any. I don't feel like I gave up anything.
Oh, Ken went.
I went.
Oh, no, you just gave us feedback.
No, sorry.
She's trying to put you on the spot.
I went. Like, I don't think. Just to go again.
My
It's the
bad.
camera right here. You gotta lean on
You
here.
good?
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Yeah. Just to go. Yeah, but no, I don't think we gave up anything really. I think we were I would consider late bloomers amongst my friends and family. Like, you know what I mean? Like we was 30 now 30s. You know what I mean? To mid 30s before we got started with family and.
That's probably the perfect time, really.
You know what I mean? And you know, so we I think it was like the perfect match. She was a little older than I was, and she was more mature than I was at the time. And she still is too.
Yes, it's gonna be that way.
She's still mature than I am, and she helped me groom me to be like settled and to understand what's more important in life. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really what I asked for.
Yeah.
I kind of took care of everything that I need to take care of when it comes to just like schooling and career wise. Like I knew who I wanted to be. I think the most important thing for me now was just to kind of figure out like what's important within our relationship is like to find that balance amongst my family and my friends and my wife and my family.
Right.
So with y'all, I guess, because I know you said like now y'all were older, right? Before you actually got married, do you feel like because you guys are like, you know, more mature and more older than, you know, a lot of your peers, that whenever they were, you know, married, like you may have been like the last people that got married, or do you feel like because of that you were ready and you were prepared and you knew what you wanted and you were, you know, it was that time, so you didn't really have to give up a lot because you were already like, you're, you know, in my 20s I'm already good, I'm done with that. Like, do you feel like that's why you kind of?
I can't speak on like what Tam went through, but like I think I think in our last in our couples group, I think I spoke on this and I like pointed this out, is that I knew what I wanted.
Okay.
Before I met Tam, like, so she didn't know what I was getting into, like what she was getting into. Like, I already like had this list of what I was looking for and what I was, gaining to like try to achieve, and she didn't know she fell within that list.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean, she was just going for the ride, and I was like, she ain't know, like she just thought, she thought this was like a typical like, I meet a dude in Atlanta. And
You know what? You remember, because I never, as long as like I've known you, I've never met like, like with some of Lamont's friends, I've met like, some females I've dated here and there. Okay, I meet somebody, okay, cool, we might do. But like, she was the first person like I've ever like met, like as far as like you're dating, like, like I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
Level
you got with me, But you remember you came over to our house and when I first met y'all, was like, oh my God, I was like, I love her, like she's so sweet, and
That's awesome.
yeah, so it was
Yeah,
I was
so-
telling him, I was like, what? I was like,
That's
oh,
interesting,
hell no,
Yeah.
man. I was like,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have thought you would have met the last.
yeah,
Ah!
but I didn't.
I'm just saying.
Right. But like I think that's just where I was, like, where we were, like within a relationship that we was at a later
You were
point.
serious, like
Right, like I knew, like and I got my bachelor pad by myself. You know what I mean?
like on set. And
I was down here with my homeboys by myself, and like I partied by myself, like so I already knew like what Atlanta had to offer from like all aspects of like living. So I was just like,
And then me personally, I had, dated previous, had been in previous relationships too, and I had just gotten to the point where I was just like, I was just over like the typical dating scene. So I was at the point where I was doing different things too. Like the night I met him, I was out at this other event. It was like the Emerging 100. Like it was like a lot of other. I was just trying to like just do something different. Just really focus on like what I want to do and just do me. And so like I met him once we left. Once a friend and I left another event. It was like a networking style event. We went over to that one. Supposed to be like an after thing for the other event we went to, and I kind of met him there. But prior to me meeting him, I was just at the point where I was just gonna just do me. I had just got out of a relationship maybe a few months before that, and I was just at that point where I was just gonna, I was just looking for something different, you know.
Right.
So I think we both were kind of at that point in our lives where we were looking for, you know,
Y'all was
maybe
like
something
ready
different.
for
We were both
it.
ready, looking for
Right.
something serious and something, you know, ready. So I don't think I had to give up anything as far as you know, just thinking it back on it. I don't think I really had to give up anything,
Just
which is good. No, I didn't give up church.
You said church.
Said church, no.
That's a whole nother topic. That we
Scott was like,
No, he doesn't go to church. He doesn't go to church.
Oh.
Just because I'm not physically in the building, like I still do stuff via online, and I still do my thing. That's him. That's the heathen. Like I can't say
it's
Don't
like,
open that. Don't open that can of worms. Right. I think we had a good stopping point right now. We've had great
I don't even know where
conversations.
that came from.
So we'll go ahead
this was trying to be funny.
and we'll continue next time. So I hope
Hot one.
the people who are viewing, I hope you've enjoyed this dialogue. For me personally, like I said, it's been entertaining and it's
Yes.
been encouraging at the same time.
Yes.
Informative, yeah.
So this won't be the last one that you hear from us. So we hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Yay.
And until
Had a
next
good time.
time, we'll see you again.
Good. Peace.
Hey.
Woo.
Good job.
I love it.